Know your real edge and don't fake it. It is honorable for a man to admit his fears. Admit your fears. Resistance and edge of practice. It is simply true that each man has his limit, his capacity for growth, and his destiny. But it is dishonorable for him to lie to himself and others about his real place. He shouldn't pretend he is more enlightened than he is. Nor should he stop short of his actual edge. The more a man is playing at his edge, the more valuable and good of a company he is for other men. The more he can be trusted to be authentic and fully present. Where a man's edge is located is less important than whether he is actually living his edge in truth, rather than being lazy or deluded. Essentially, your fears are your edge. How well do you play at them? Once again, courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. You don't have to be brave to be brave. Play at your edge, because that is how we conquer our fears, right? Slowly, you don't throw yourself into the ocean of your fears, but you play at it. There's a balance between how, like, your comfort zone and, like, one step in, one step out. How do I even explain this? Like, here, have you lost touch with the fears that are limiting and shaping your income and style of livelihood? If you have deluded yourself and feel that you are not afraid, then you are lying to yourself. Everyone is afraid. Everyone has fears, insecurities, yada yada. How well are you playing at them? Are you running from them, or are you pursuing them, staring them in the face? Right? All men are afraid unless they are perfectly free. No man is perfectly free. If you cannot admit your insecurities and fears, you are pretending to yourself and others, and people can feel that. Hopefully, as I'm speaking right now, you can feel a sense of authenticity, right? I have pure intentions, honestly. But when you don't, I don't know why, but people can just feel that, like, behind, even if you're talking behind a screen and you're just watching a YouTube video, you can tell when people are being inauthentic with ulterior motives, exterior motive, whatever. When they want something from you, you can just feel it. I don't know why. And I guess it's just something about, like, our psychology or whatever. Perhaps you might be aware of your fears, right? Your fear to take risks, your fear of failing, your fear of succeeding, perhaps your fear of living a comfortable life. Whatever your fears are, the closer you can play to them, the better. The closer you can acknowledge them and face them, the better. I'll give you an example. I just got selected as house captain for my school. I'll be leading like 1/4 of my entire school in a bunch of competitions this year. I'm afraid. I'm growing a YouTube channel. I'm afraid. Like, 14,000 people is kind of crazy at this point. Like, I don't even know why people watch. I'm afraid to decide what I'm going to do for uni. I'm afraid, like, there's so much uncertainty. That's the word, uncertainty. The more you can play at uncertainty, the more that you can be intimate, like comfortable with that uncertainty, with not knowing your path. That is what refines you as a human being. Because when you are uncertain about something, you're forced to lock in on the present moment, take your next step, and trust in the process without knowing where it takes you, right? There's this quote that I live by from the Bible. God is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. God is a lamp to your feet, not a stadium light to your distant future. If you can see the light at the end of your tunnel, it eliminates faith. It eliminates trust. It eliminates the beauty of what life is, right? Unknowing, if you knew exactly how your life was going to go step by step by step for the next 100 years, is that even a life you want to live? That's a life we want to chase, right? Like, oh, I want to figure everything out. It's natural to want to figure things out, but if you really think about it logically, I don't want to know everything, right? Spoiler alerts, right? I want some plot twists. The fact that I'm talking to you right now, that I'm still on YouTube, is a plot twist. There's so much that goes on. The more you can play with uncertainty and make it your friend rather than a foe, an enemy, the more you'll realize that life is just now, you know? It's just this. You don't have to know the next 10 steps before you take your first step. If, once again, a lamp to your feet, if you can literally see your next step, that's all you need to take. Because guess what? Once you take your next step, you'll be able to see your next step, and your next step, and your next step. And you'll see, oh, there's a branch I need to duck under. Okay. Oh, there's a lake I need to hop over. Okay. Oh, there's a snake over there. I better avoid it. But you won't figure that out by just standing in place and just thinking. Imagine you have two forks in the road. Imagine you have two forks in the road and you're standing like here and you need to decide which way to go, right? You are not going to figure out which path is the better path by standing here and trying to peer, like look off into the distance, right? Nor are you going to figure out what path is better when you just walk in the middle. You're going to just have to decide. That's the beauty of life, because a pros and cons list will not solve every problem that you want it to solve. Trust me, I've tried. Literally, I've tried. Where's my journal? I can't find it right now, but live with uncertainty. Take your next step, even if you're not even sure about your next step. If you can see a next step, take it. Take it, because you'll never be ready. There's this quote that was another quote, but start before you know how. You will never feel ready before you start doing something. Imagine I had waited until I was 18, 19, 25 before I started this YouTube channel. You wouldn't be here right now. And I wouldn't have learned the necessary lessons to even do this, right? But I started before I knew how. My first video is literally me ranting about how I can't even record a single video. Start before you know how. Because if you wait until you're ready before you start doing something that you actually want to do, guess what? Spoiler alert, you'll never feel ready. The way that you start feeling ready is by just starting and doing it. Start and do it. Stop hoping. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect moment that you know is never going to arrive. And if it does, sure, wow, magical, okay. No, it doesn't exist. Even if you think it does. The perfect moment is now. The perfect time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second perfect time is right now. So once again, tap into uncertainty. If you don't have any uncertainties in your life, then you're not really living your life, are you? Maybe you are. There will always be uncertainty. Always. And the more you can be intimate with it and make it your friend, feel it, don't fight it. Don't fight it. It's here for you. Like, embrace it. The more you can embrace your uncertainty, the more you'll find that when you actually stare the scary monster dead in the eyes, it's not actually as scary as you thought. But when you run from uncertainty, right? Men often suffer twice, when they suffer once in their imagination and once in real life, or once in actuality, right? When you run from your emotions, such as uncertainty and fear and doubt, and it creeps in your mind, and you run from it and fight it, it's going to catch up to you eventually. And every time you have to fight it, you feel it again. And oftentimes it's worse than it actually is. But when you embrace it, you realize, hey, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. But at least I can feel that and acknowledge that. And I'm not okay with it, but I'm going to feel it. I'm going to accept that's the way I feel. Right? That's going to take a lot of sleepless nights off of your life. It's interesting that a lot of us are even afraid of succeeding. You know, chapter 1 of this book, The Way of the Superior Man, speaks about stop hoping for a completion of anything in life, meaning stop waiting for something to happen before you start doing what you actually want. Stop waiting before you feel like you're ready before you actually start. Because when you start, that's the only way you realize you working towards some specific goal or ambition. That is the only possible way you can figure out if it's really what you want or not. Me starting YouTube, it's the only way I can figure out if this is something I even want to do or not, right? If it's even something that's going to work out. Because for a lot of people, some of their dreams are just meant to stay dreams. For a lot of people, some dreams, on their way toward achieving it, they realize that they don't even really want it, right? And it's difficult because when you leave a dream and you never even try and go see if it's something you really want to do, you're left with that what if. And that what if to me is really painful. Like, it's probably one of the worst feelings you can possibly have. Or be left with, you know, because it sticks with you for the rest of your life. You're going to look back and ask yourself, what if? I don't want to know what if. Just find out for yourself. Yep. Do not fake your edge. Live by it. Seek it. Chase your fears. Live by uncertainty. Honor it. Because every man has his uncertainties. Every woman has her uncertainties. Everyone has doubt. Everyone has fears. Not many. No one plays by it, keeps it close to their heart, embraces it, chases after it. Everyone's running from it. Let's chase it, face it, play by it. Let's live by it. That's the message that I have for you today. Live by your edge and don't fake it. Get after it.